Michael Haight was born on January 7, 1980, in Seattle, Washington. However, at an early age, his family relocated to Cedar City, Utah, following the completion of his father's dental school. As a child, Michael was a typical young boy who enjoyed baseball, basketball, and soccer. He achieved the rank of Eagle Scout and excelled in school. After graduating high school in 1998, Michael spent the summer working at a fish plant in Alaska. He quickly earned the position of line manager, overseeing more than a dozen men. His work ethic and dedication were recognized, leading to his promotion. Michael went on a mission trip to South Brazil as a dedicated member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This experience further deepened his faith and strengthened his commitment to his religious community. Upon his return to the United States, Michael pursued a degree in business at Southern Utah University, where he graduated in 2004. At Southern Utah University, Michael met his future wife, Tasha Earle. They fell in love and married in the St. George Temple on May 10, 2003. Michael appeared to be the epitome of a devoted husband and father. To outsiders, he coached his children's sports teams, attended their school concerts, and spent time with them sledding and doing projects in the garage. However, on January 4, 2023, the facade Michael had built around his family came crashing down. On that day, 8 bodies were found in the Haight residence, leaving investigators and neighbors alike shocked and bewildered. Early that morning, Tasha Haight missed an online appointment, and Michael, her husband, failed to report for work. Their colleagues grew concerned and contacted the police to perform a welfare check at the Haight residence in Enoch. Officers arrived at the Haight residence, but upon knocking, they received no answer. As they walked around the property, the officers observed that it did not appear as if anyone was home. Knowing that the Haight's had 5 children, the police contacted the Iron County School District to verify if any of the children were at school that day. However, it was discovered that none of the children were present. When the police arrived at the Haight home, they cleared the premises to ensure no immediate danger was present. After a thorough search, they confirmed that no one needed medical attention and that there were no signs of an active threat. The Haight's lived in a single-story residence with a basement. Detectives arrived on the scene a short time later, after the home was declared a crime scene. Upon entering the main bedroom, the detectives noticed that 4-year-old Gavin was lying flat on his stomach. His head turned to the left. One of his arms was placed under his head on a comfortable pillow, while a blanket covered a portion of his body. Similar to Gavin, Tasha was only partially covered by the blanket. The detectives discovered an older woman on the other side of the bed. She was later identified as Gail Earle, Tasha's mother. Gail was also lying on her back, her head resting on a pillow. Like her daughter and grandson, Gail was partially covered by a blanket. As the detectives continued their search of the Haight home, they entered Briley's room, where they found the 12-year-old girl lying in bed. She was slightly inclined and partially covered with a blanket. In Ammon's room, the detectives discovered a 7-year-old boy lying face down in the corner of the room. Unlike his siblings, he did not have a pillow or blanket over him. Sienna, Ammon's twin sister, was found in her bedroom lying on her left side in bed, her head resting on a pillow, also covered with a blanket. Macy, the eldest of the Haight children at 17 years old, was found in her bed, her head resting on a pillow, and her body covered by the blanket. The detectives then found Michael Haight in the exercise room in the basement of the home. He was lying on top of a sleeping bag. All 8 victims were found dead from gunshot wounds. It did not take long before the detectives concluded that Michael Haight was the primary suspect. They theorized that he killed his wife, mother-in-law, and 5 children before taking his own life. As the detectives began their investigation, one neighbor provided crucial information that helped them piece together the timeline of the crime. The neighbor told the police that she had awoken at 3:30 a.m. to use the bathroom. Upon exiting her room, she heard a loud bang that sounded like fireworks. However, she quickly noticed that it was past the legal date for fireworks to be allowed in the neighborhood, leaving her feeling annoyed. The neighbor continued, stating that after the initial bang, she heard two more in quick succession. This noise was followed by a short pause, then another bang. That pattern continued with a brief pause before the next bang and a longer pause before a final bang. Based on the neighbor's statement and the condition of the 8 bodies found inside the house, the detectives speculated that the bangs she had heard around 3:30 a.m. were directly related to the events that unfolded that night. They believed that Michael Haight carried out the brutal killings during this specific time frame. During the investigation into the Haight family murders, detectives learned that an unnamed non-family member had reported abuse to the police and the Utah Division of Child and Family Services, DCFS, in 2020. This individual revealed that Macy, who was 14 years old at the time, confided in them about her fear of her father. That revelation sparked a further investigation into the Haight household. Following receipt of the DCFS report, Macy and her parents were interviewed separately. During Macy's interview, the interviewer learned disturbing information. Macy stated that there were times when her father choked her and she feared he was going to kill her. She revealed that the violent attacks began in 2017 and spoke of a time when her father grabbed her by the shoulders and pushed her into a wooden piece of furniture. When the detectives interviewed Michael Haight, he denied ever hurting his daughter. He dismissed the incidents described by Macy as misunderstandings and blamed his emotional state on his father's death and the recent divorce of his brother. Michael stated that he had been upset about these issues and took it out on his older daughter. Tasha did not want to press criminal charges against Michael, and the Utah Department of Children and Family Services, the Enoch Police Department, and the Iron County Prosecutor's Office also declined to press charges. They had determined that the case did not meet the statute's requirements for prosecution. Additionally, a lethality assessment was conducted with Tasha, and according to her responses, it did not indicate her relationship with Michael was lethal. However, victim services were made available to Tasha and the children for several months after the case was opened. Through conversations with Tasha's friends, the detectives gained a different perspective on Michael Haight from the one portrayed to the community. According to Tasha's friends, whenever they stopped by the house to visit, they often had to engage in conversation while the water was running in the kitchen to cover up any sound. Tasha believed that Michael was monitoring her conversations and eavesdropping on them. These friends also helped Tasha clean the house whenever they came over, so Michael would have nothing to yell at Tasha about. Tasha's friends shared that whenever they texted her, she would respond with short, positive messages, seemingly mindful of the possibility that Michael might read these messages. They believed this was a way of maintaining a positive image in front of Michael, suggesting that everything was going smoothly in their marriage. The detectives assigned to the case learned that Michael exhibited signs of highly controlling behavior towards his wife, Tasha. One way in which Michael exerted control over Tasha was by taking her car keys and phone to prevent her from leaving. Another incident that raised suspicion about Michael was his reaction to Tasha purchasing a $30 rug from Walmart to replace a soiled one. Although Tasha had a legitimate need for the carpet, Michael became furious, claiming the purchase was excessive. Tasha confided in her friends that her 7-year-old son, Eamon, was acting more and more like his father, Michael, emulating his bad behavior. Whenever Tasha told Eamon to do something, he responded, "That's not my job." This behavior was concerning for Tasha as it reflected Eamon's lack of responsibility and disregard for authority. Michael often dismissed or ignored Tasha's instructions, and Eamon seemed to follow suit. According to Tasha's friends, in 2022, Tasha dared to indulge in a small act of self-care despite the demands of her responsibilities. She decided to get her nails done, a relatively rare occurrence for her. However, her husband, Michael, did not allow it to happen, placing strict restrictions on her freedom. After Tasha's indulgence, she felt renewed confidence in beauty. She told Michael that she would be getting her nails done on a monthly basis, a decision that did not sit well with him. Angered by his wife's decision, Michael expressed his disapproval, questioning how much this new habit would cost. To alleviate Michael's concerns, Tasha calmly explained that maintaining this self-care ritual costs $25 per month. However, Michael remained unconvinced, arguing that Tasha was taking food from their children's mouths by spending money on her nails. His perspective was rooted in control and a deep financial responsibility towards their family. Around the same time, Tasha started prioritizing her self-care and began losing weight after years of her husband calling her fat and ugly. Michael was furious that she was shedding pounds. He accused Tasha of cheating on him, trying to justify the sudden change in her physical appearance. Michael's controlling behavior reached new heights as he attempted to manipulate Tasha's weight loss. He pleaded with her to stop losing weight, concerned that other men might look at her with desire. Underlying this demand were his deep-seated insecurities and desire for complete control over his wife's body and behavior. Tasha's friends also told the police about an incident when the family kitchen table unexpectedly broke, and Tasha needed to buy a new table. However, Michael refused to give her the money to buy one. Frustrated by the situation, Tasha decided to take matters into her own hands. She chose to refinish the old table, hoping to improve its appearance and functionality. However, this act of defiance did not sit well with Michael, as he had not given her permission to do so. Michael had a stingy attitude towards spending. During the holiday season, despite his significant income, he provided only $100 to Tasha for each of their 5 children to buy presents. Tasha always gave her children a fulfilling Christmas. Yet Michael, who received a substantial paycheck from his job at Alate, refused to allocate additional funds to his wife and children. His rationale was that he didn't see the need to provide them with more of what he believed was rightfully his. Michael's obsession with reducing waste and conserving resources led him to impose strict rules on Tasha's household habits. She had to wash out and reuse plastic bags, even if they had been used once or multiple times. This excessive demand for reusing bags placed additional responsibilities and burdens on Tasha, leaving her feeling overwhelmed. Furthermore, Michael's desire to control every aspect of Tasha's life extended to her cleaning and baby care routines. He insisted on making cleaning and baby wipes himself, claiming it was more eco-friendly and cost-effective. However, this demand compromised Tasha's comfort and hygiene and created unnecessary stress. If Tasha failed to adhere to the instructions set by Michael, she faced serious consequences. He made it clear that disobedience would lead to a lot of trouble for her. This threat created a sense of fear and submission in Tasha, leaving her with no choice but to comply with Michael's demands. According to Tasha's friends, she confided in them that although Michael had been mean to her throughout their marriage, he had never extended this mistreatment to their children until the late 2000s and 10s. However, as time went on, the abuse directed towards Macy intensified, leading her to consider taking her own life. Michael had extremely high expectations for his daughter, Macy. He expected her to earn straight A's all the time, even though Macy was already struggling with the weight of her father's abuse. The pressure to meet his unrealistic expectations proved to be overwhelming for Macy. Macy's friends told the detectives about another disturbing incident in the Haight home. Michael returned home one evening to find Macy with her head in her mother's lap. Angry and frustrated, Michael instructed Macy to get up and clean her room. This incident left Macy deeply shaken as she recalled looking into her father's eyes and seeing them filled with hatred and pure evil. The detectives uncovered another incident where 7-year-old Briley was playing with a changing table and didn't stop when Michael told her to. This incident led to Michael blaming his wife, Tasha, for their children's behavior. He labeled them as the worst children in the world disrespectful, and awful. Michael not only blamed Tasha but also called her fat and ugly, all in front of their 5 children. It was during this distressing incident that Tasha decided to pursue an exit strategy and file for divorce from Michael after 20 years of marriage. The incident, which showcased Michael's abusive behavior and lack of control over his anger, served as a wake-up call for Tasha. She saw the negative impact this behavior was having on her children and realized that staying in the marriage was not an option. Divorce was difficult for Tasha. She had spent over 2 decades with Michael. However, she realized that her children's well-being and safety were more important than any marital bond. On December 21st, 2022, Tasha filed for divorce from her husband Michael. However, she asked for the divorce papers to be delivered after the holidays, wanting one last normal Christmas for her 5 children before the separation. She knew that Michael's behavior would likely escalate once he received the papers and did not want the holiday festivities tarnished for everyone. The divorce papers were delivered to Michael's office 2 days after Christmas. Despite his recent actions, Michael called Tasha, acting completely normal and asking her about her day as if she hadn't served him with divorce papers mere minutes ago. He told Tasha to leave, but insisted that she leave the children behind. However, Tasha stood her ground and refused to leave the house without them. Despite Michael's demands, Tasha decided to take the children with her to her mother's home in Lynn, Utah. Later that evening, Michael showed up at his mother-in-law's house, attempting to convince Tasha to go for a ride with him. Tasha, however, refused and confided in her friends that she had a bad feeling about going anywhere alone with Michael. After Tasha filed for divorce, Gail Earle, Tasha's mother, moved in to provide support for both Tasha and the children. However, Michael's actions during this time further exacerbated the situation. Michael did not vacate the family home. Instead, he chose to move into the basement where the fitness room was. In this room, he slept on a sleeping bag with a pillow on the floor. His clothes hung on hangers piled on a couch outside the door. Tasha confided in her friends that she had noticed a discrepancy in their children's savings accounts, which contained $220,000. She discovered that Michael had secretly transferred the money out of these accounts without her knowledge or consent. Furthermore, Tasha inherited several firearms from her father after his death, including hunting rifles and a handgun. At the start of January 2023, Tasha discovered that all the firearms were missing from her house. Upon further investigation, it was revealed that Michael had removed the weapons, leaving Tasha and her family vulnerable in case of an emergency. Michael and Tasha's oldest child, Macy, had expressed to several of her friends that she welcomed her parents' divorce. Macy confided that there would be peace without her father Michael in the home. She yearned for the tranquility that a divorce would bring. Furthermore, Macy had a secret phone that she hid in her room. According to one of her friends, Macy used this phone to record her father when he acted crazy. She confided in this friend that she was doing this to gather evidence to support her parents' divorce. However, Tasha found the phone and hid it away. Macy's younger sister, Briley, also endured a tumultuous home life due to the constant drama at home. Briley often sought refuge at her neighbor's house. This neighbor had grandchildren of a similar age, and Briley found solace in the company of these children. Briley disclosed to a friend that she was happy about her parents' impending divorce. She even mentioned purchasing some new books, but she refrained from telling her father out of fear that he might get angry with her. On January 3, 2023, Tasha met with her attorney to discuss her ongoing concerns about her divorce from her abusive husband, Michael. During their conversation, Tasha revealed that although Michael was still living in the family home, she was relieved that he had recently relocated to the basement. Given Michael's volatile behavior, the attorneys pressed Tasha on whether she ever experienced any concern for her or her children's safety. Despite Michael's occasional outbursts, Tasha reassured her attorneys that she never feared for her or her children's well-being. In hindsight, it is clear that Tasha's optimism and misplaced faith in her husband were tragically misplaced. The investigation into the Haight family shooting was a harrowing journey for police detectives as they pieced together the chilling sequence of events that led to the tragic outcome. One chilling discovery stood out amid the digital evidence collected from the family's computers and cell phones. On December 30th, mere days before the deadly shooting, Michael conducted a disturbing Google search at 10:41 p.m. Michael's queries delved into firearms and shooting-related topics. These searches and other evidence gathered during the investigation painted a chilling picture of Michael's intentions. The search results revealed alarming questions such as, how loud is a 9mm gunshot? What does a gunshot sound like? I heard gunshots near my house. What do I do? If you heard a single gunshot in your neighborhood at night, would you immediately recognize it as such? Would you either way be ed enough to call the police? How loud is a gunshot in the house? Would a neighbor hear a gunshot in the garage? How loud is a .40mm pistol? In the note Michael crafted before he took his life, he said he preferred to rot in hell than to continue enduring what he described as controlling behavior by his wife. Michael expressed that he could not handle the situation for another day and was determined to put an end to the manipulation and control he had been subjected to. Michael's note expressed deep frustration and desperation. He mentioned repeatedly asking for help, but no one seemed to listen. In this note, Michael emphasized his determination to not be a burden to society. The details of this case have left many in shock and disbelief, as it painted the picture of a deeply dysfunctional family plagued by violence. Michael's actions were premeditated and calculated. He carefully planned the murders, ensuring that his wife and children were unaware until it was too late.